Welcome back to another episode of 5 Fact Friday. We are Whiskey and Wine. My name is Sam, and we are going to be diving into a specific whiskey or wine topic, and hopefully you're going to learn something. Let's go. So today we are going to be talking about learning your senses better so you can be a better taster and a better smeller, I guess. When it comes to whiskey and wine, you're going to be able to pick out more flavors. Now, this is something really nice if you just want to get better at tasting whiskey or tasting wine and be able to pick out specific flavor notes, or being able to provide flavor notes, or even trying to pick out what specific whiskey or what specific wine you're tasting. Knowing the flavor notes is going to help you narrow in on what it is. So this is something fun to do when you're just at a tasting, if you're doing blind tastings, if you want to become more of a whiskey or wine nerd, or if you just want to have a fun little party trick where you can pick out all these really fun pick out all of these really fun flavors for your friends. It can be kind of fun. The first thing when it comes to learning how to be a better taster, we're just going to say taster even though it's smelling as well. The first thing is going to be trying new things. Now, this isn't just trying new whiskeys, new wines, it's also going to be trying just new flavor things, whether it's a coffee, it's tea, it's new foods, whatever it may be. Trying new things is going to help you a lot. But with that, you should be trying new whiskeys, new wines, or even other spirits, just so you can start to get a gist of what these other flavors are that are out there. And even within wine or within whiskey, it's good to, say if you're in the red wine category, to try some dessert wines, try some white wines, so you can have something to compare it to. That's going to help you build up your repertoire of different flavor notes, of different comparisons, so you can see, okay, this isn't actually as high acid as this is, or maybe like for whiskey, this isn't going to be quite as drying as this whiskey, or this whiskey is going to be sweeter. So here are some comparisons. It's going to give you a broader spectrum, so you're going to be able to better narrow in on what exactly is going on with whatever you are tasting. Which is one of the reasons I love tasting coffee, I love tasting tea. I feel like it helps a lot. Anyways, moving on to number 2, keep track of what you've been tasting. This is more easily said than done, honestly, because when you're tasting something, you're usually going through and like, oh yeah, this tastes like blank, this tastes like blank, I'm getting these notes and these notes, and you're just kind of rapid firing through, and then you get done, you're like, shoot, what did I just taste? What was that note? So make sure you keep track of these. One, it's going to help you just when you go back to it, but also writing it down is going to help commit it to memory. In addition to that, when you go back, so say 2-3 days later, you can be like, oh, what was that? I was getting a really weird note out of this. What was I getting? And you're like, oh yeah, it was buttered popcorn. Well, it's not that weird of a note. You're getting buttered popcorn out of this wine. Cool, you got that. So now you're gonna come back 4 days later, try it again, be like, I'm not getting buttered popcorn. This time I'm getting more of a toasted coconut. And you can start to kind of keep track of that. You might narrow in, okay, this is exactly what this flavor is that I'm tasting. It was just presenting like this earlier when I was getting started. Tip number 3, train your palate. I know this should go without saying, but you do need to train your palate. A lot of learning these sensory things, it does require a good amount of training and amount of practice, because especially here in the US, we don't really do these things where we pick out these flavors and find these nuances. It's not something we normally do. So it is like learning a new skill and learning a new language. So you do have to practice it, and it is going to take a while. So training your palate is something you have to do. Now, of course, you can definitely go out and go to a sensory course. You can buy the $200-$300 sensory kits. You can go do these things. And yes, these are good things to do if you have the time or you have the monetary value to go do that. But if not, honestly, what you can do is just start your spice cabinet. Go to your spice cabinet, pull down some spices, and just smell it, set it down, smell the next one, set it down, and try to start to pinpoint that specific smell. So let's say you have basil, thyme, and cocoa. So you smell the cocoa, you're like, great, this smells like cocoa. This is cocoa. This is cocoa. And then you come back next day and blind it, you smell it, you try to pinpoint what that is. And then you have your thyme, your basil, all that other stuff. Smell it. Okay, this is basil. Okay, this is thyme. This is oregano. This is sage, whatever it is. And you just start to try to pinpoint what they are. So you can start, just like I said, in your spice cabinet, but then you can also just grab some processed foods. You can grab fruit. You can grab a banana. You can grab an apple. You can grab a pear, a lemon, a lime, Whatever it is, just grab it and start to try to pinpoint these smells without actually seeing what it is. That is going to help a ton. But again, if you do have like the money and the time to either take one of these courses or go on Amazon and go buy one of these sensory kits, awesome. It is a great tool to have, and it is going to help you train a lot. So as you do that, go through, just look at it, smell it, try to commit it to memory, and then come back later and then try to do it blind and see if you can figure out what's what. All right, let's move on to number 4. What was number 4? Right, number 4, taste with people. Again, this sounds a little weird, but it's not going to be the best thing to try to do these things by yourself. If you're by yourself and you're just smelling a whiskey and you're like, oh, I'm getting cherry cola, or I'm getting nutmeg out of this one. Sure, you might be getting that flavor, but it might actually be something different. One of the examples I really like is toasted coconut. Toasted coconut can present to some people more of like a woody smell, but it's actually toasted coconut is the technical scent and the chemical compounds and all that stuff. So if I'm tasting with someone else or with a group and I say, oh, this tastes like toasted coconut, and someone else goes, oh, this was more of a woody flavor to me, we can go, okay, so when you get that woody flavor, that is toasted coconut. Or if I'm getting a specific note, I can say, hey, this note that I'm talking about, say this chocolate cake note that I'm getting, this is what I'm talking about when I say chocolate cake, which is gonna help for when we're doing tastings together or just by myself. It's like, okay, that person said chocolate, or they said chocolate cake. I'm getting this, that's what they mean. It just helps you basically double check yourself is what it really helps you do. So otherwise, if you're by yourself, you might end up picking up a certain note and assigning that note, and you're like, yes, this is that. And then it turns out that it's not actually correct. And then it's not always the best thing. Being wrong isn't fun, which brings me to my final point. It's okay to be wrong. Again, this is a new thing for a lot of us, especially, like I said, here in the US. It is very new for us to try to pick out these flavor notes to try to explain the flavor of a beverage or a food. We're not used to doing that. So like any skill, you do have to go through this learning phase, and when you're learning, you're gonna mess up. So I still struggle with this. It's okay to be wrong. And you can say, yeah, this tastes like spearmint. And it's like, oh no, that's not spearmint, that's actually peppermint, or that's just menthol. It's like, okay, cool. Now I can file that away and I can try to learn from that. Being wrong is just going to help you learn a little bit faster. Because if you don't say anything and you're just like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really getting much out of this, well, now you don't really know what your flavor was that you were getting because you didn't say anything. Just acknowledging what you're getting and then starting to hone in on it. It's basically like shooting targets. You have the big target and you might have hit the target, but you weren't perfectly on the bullseye. You were close maybe, but you weren't on the bullseye. So you have to slowly adjust everything in, sight in, and then you're gonna be able to hit those every time. But again, this takes time. So it's okay to be wrong, it's okay to take the time. It is a skill and it is going to take a while to hone it in. I absolutely love anything with sensory. I love being able to smell a whiskey, smell a wine, smell a coffee, smell a tea, smell food, and start to pick out all of these little notes and go, oh, they use this, that's interesting. Or, oh, this reminds me of this, and then start to backtrack to figure out what are the actual flavor notes that I'm getting. It is super fun. It's a fun conversation thing when you're doing a whiskey or a wine tasting with people. And if you are someone who does want to become a somm, or you want to just become a bourbon expert, whiskey expert, wine expert, whatever it may be, this will be something that you need to do. So I highly encourage you to start to take those steps. Start to smell your whiskey a little bit more, smell your wine a little bit more, and see if you can narrow in on what any of those flavors actually are. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I enjoyed nerding out about it. Congrats, you made it to the weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Cheers.